Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A lot of news from Ukraine. The Russians launched more than 140 drones. They attacked Kyiv with more than 30 drones. The Ukrainians attacked Moscow. Supposedly or reportedly, the Russians downed one of their own helicopter in Moscow. Then we have the Russians advancing on 4 settlements. Then the Russians have, again, advancing in another settlement in Sumy, because they have another offensive in Sumy Oblast. The 4 settlements are in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Russians redeployed troops from Kursk into Vovchansk axis. That means they're done in Kursk. Done is already Kursk Oblast is already clean. All right, what else? The Russian troops likely shot down their own helicopter, as I said, and I'm going to show you possibly how many Ukrainians are dying a month. And how do you know? By how many you need to replenish what you lost. So if you lose a month, let's say 30,000 Ukrainians, then you're going to ask for 30,000 troops at least, no? Since you are defending, not in an offensive, you're in a defense. That means you need more because you're going to lose more. If you don't keep the same amount, probably the other side will overwhelm you. So let's start with the first topic, which is the Russian attack, drone attack, massive drone attack on the Ukrainians. Not infrastructure, not even the Ukrainians report that. So let's start. We start with the Ukrinform. AFU shot down 85 enemy drones, another 49 vanished from radar. So my God, these guys had a lot of success. Look over there, my friends. So that's what? 134? Is it? Yeah. The Ukrainian Defense Forces have shot down 85, another 40, boom. Here's the evidence right there, in case you want the evidence, right there. And the Russians attacked 145 drones. How many we said here? 44? 34. 34. So 134? No, Jesus Christ. Wow, there's one. I'm losing my mind. 134. So 134 out of 145. All right, where did they launch the missiles? The drones from Kursk, Oriol, Milerovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, and Shauda. Kursk, Oriol, Milerovo. Kursk, Oriol, right there. This is Ukraine. Then you got Milerovo here. So Kursk, Oriol, as I said, here in the northeast. Then you got Milerovo right here. Then you have Primorsko-Akhtarsk here by the Sea of Azov, exactly here, Primorsko-Akhtarsk. And you have right here Cape Shauda on the Crimean Peninsula. Here is the Kerch Bridge, which I thought the Ukrainians eventually will destroy, and I'm still waiting. Not that I want, but it seems like that's gonna be their biggest success. All right, let's see what they attacked. They attacked in Donetsk, Kharkiv, Kiev, Khmelnytsky, Poltava, and Mykolaiv. So Donetsk, Kharkiv, Kiev, Donetsk right here, Kharkiv right here, Kiev here, Poltava here, Khmelnytsky here, and it was Mykolaiv, maybe? What was it last one? Mykolaiv. So actually, Donetsk, Kharkiv, Kiev, Khmelnytsky, Poltava, and Mykolaiv. As I said, Khmelnytsky, Kiev, Poltava, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Mykolaiv. All right, next. This comes from the Voice of Ukraine. Russia launches 145 drones, most of them shot down. So it was what, 11 that maybe hit something. But we find out that those 11 caused a lot of damage. This is another one, 85, but 6 oblasts affected by attacks. I already mentioned them. And we find out that 30 drones attack Kyiv overnight. Warehouses burned, houses destroyed, 2 people injured. They don't report anything on the infrastructure, like the energy infrastructure I'm talking about. All right, and I say 30 Russian UAVs were recorded near the city of Kyiv on the night of 9 to 10 April, with 16 of them being destroyed and the others either leaving the airspace. Why? of the city, or disappearing airspace of the city, or disappearing from radar because they hit the right place. All right, 30, nothing happened. According to the Ukrainians, New Voice of Ukraine, who cite the Victoria Nuland's sister-in-law, Kimberly Kagan's business, Institute for the Study of War. Don't trust it. Russia launches advance on Sumy Oblast to build buffer zone and pressure the city. So, where is that at? Here is Sumy Oblast. So the Russians are advancing here. They launch a counteroffensive. This is where the NATO offensive using the Ukrainians occurred. They have a little piece here, a little piece here, and they used to have about like this. Where is it? Like this much. And now they're out, and the Russians are attacking towards probably Sumy, the city. Let's see if that's true. Russia is likely aiming to establish a so-called buffer zone along Ukraine's northeastern border, may seek to place artillery within the range of Sumy city, finally making it uninhabitable, the Institute for the Study of War said. So what they do, they want to create a buffer zone here, and they will place their little systems here so they can even shoot at Sumy. All right, next. New Voice of Ukraine. Russian forces advance near the 4 settlements in Donetsk Oblast, according to the Ukrainians. And they say analysts indicate Russian localized advances near the village of Druzhba, Rozlin, Rozdolnya, and Nidivka. All right, all of them should be obviously deep state. I don't know if you can trust those guys, but nevertheless, earlier reported the Ukrainian defense forces have restored positions near Kotlinie in Donetsk Oblast. At the same time, a Russian advance were recorded near Katerinivka, Kalinove, and Nadivka. So these guys are, the Russians are really advancing. They said their advance stalled near Pokrovsk. These guys say, not so fast, not so fast. And we have another article from New Voice of Ukraine. Russian forces redeploy troops from Vovchansk axis to Vovchansk, Russia is moving personnel and military equipment from the Kursk direction to the area around Vovchansk, Kyiv Oblast. Right? And I'm going to show you where that is located. So this is the Kursk area where they don't need to have them anymore. Right here. And here is Vovchansk in this area here. Right here is Vovchansk. So they bring it from Kursk. This will make it so I can have them both. They bring it from Kursk in Vovchansk in order to attack maybe Kharkiv. All right, so here is one offensive. This is another counteroffensive offensive. This is definitely towards Kupiansk, but they transfer from there to here. That means, well, job completed. New Voice of Ukraine. All these articles are from today, April the 10th. Russian troops likely shot down their own helicopter near Moscow Defense Express. On the night of April 10, Russian forces in Naro-Fominsk, Moscow Oblast, likely shot down one of their own helicopters. Very interesting. These Russians are so effective in shooting helicopters only when they're their own. When it's the Ukrainian one, no, somehow they're not good at it. Mistaking it for a Ukrainian drone, according to an analyst by Ukrainian military. Not impossible, not impossible. Due to the low quality of nighttime footage, it's difficult to identify the aircraft, but the rotating blades and corresponding noise leave little room for doubt, analysts say. Another video that surfaced online shows the helicopter more clearly. Through it remains unclear whether it was a civilian or military aircraft or what model it was. You shoot everything that's in the air. And here's the video. I'm not going to play that one. As to why Russian forces fired on their own aircraft, analysts pointed to the type of weapons used. Machine guns and possibly Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft cannons rather than missile-based air defense systems. So the Russians might have shut them down because they were attacked with about 30 drones. And let me show you if you want to stop something, you know, you have action and reaction. So if you push with this force, you have to oppose with the same force to keep it right there. If you don't oppose it with the same amount of force, then this force will push you back. If you push with more, you have the chances to push this back. Clear? Clear. All right, that gets me to this article. Russia Today. This is from yesterday, 9th of August. August, Jesus Christ. April. I don't have my glasses and I've just assumed that's August without even thinking. Ukraine's top general demands 30,000 conscripts a month. The step is necessary to withstand Russian pressure on the battlefield, according to the ethnic Russian Alexander Syrsky. Here are the midgets with the movie director, Mr. Weinstein. He was a movie director, and this is another Ukrainians. I don't think these are Ukrainians because they're masked. Otherwise, they would be open like this guy here, but they're not. All right, so nevertheless, I think these are just his captures. Nevertheless, here it is, my friends. They need 30,000 new conscripts to withstand the Russians. That means you're losing as many, or the Russians bring more. Could that be? So the Russians bring more, then you have to counter it. From my experience, or at least it's common knowledge, I would say it, if you have comparable technology, comparable weapons, and you have some who defend and the other one who attack to defend, then the ratio between the losses, or to keep the front kind of stable, the guys who are attacking usually you lose about 3 to 4 to 1. So if you need 30,000, then you have to multiply that by 3, which makes almost 100,000 Russians that come over every month, they say. So, or 100,000, 120,000. So if you need just to, what was the word these guys baboons use, withstand Russian pressure. So just to withstand the pressure, not to win anything, just to withstand, you need 30,000. That means to stop them over here. According to the rules of law in the defense, let's say 4 to 1 or 3 to 1 ratio. That means the Russians bring every month, they bring 100,000 troops, which I don't think is true. I know it's not true. Therefore, these guys are losing 30,000 a month. All right? Because the other guys are not bringing 100,000 people a month as this guy requests. Got it? And who's dying? The Ukrainian nation. Who's in charge? Zelensky Stein, Zhmyhal Stein, Yermak Stein, and Syrsky, the Russian, and Mr. Umerov, who is a Tatar. And the Ukrainians are sent to the front to fight because the evil Russians want again to subjugate them. This is how the story goes. I hope the Ukrainians, not that they don't figure out, they know who's who, what's what, but I hope they go and change it. And they will also just shrug off the guys from outside, the foreigners who try to get them to fight until the last Ukrainian at their command, and the Steins. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.